Hello everybody, this is Lino Tadros. I am very excited to start this a short series, few videos to talk about Azure AI Foundry. The first video will just set up the stage to show you how you can create a hub and a project inside of Azure AI Foundry. And then from that point on, we'll go ahead and keep adding. So I'm not gonna have to repeat every video about how to set up a hub and a project. I'm just gonna keep continuing after the first video. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to go to the Azure Portal. I logged in already. I'm going to go ahead and create a brand new resource group. Let me click on Create here. And I'm going to call this one RG AI Demo. How about that? Sounds good. And I'm going to put it in whatever region I want. For right now, we are actually in December at this time in 2024 doing this video. And East US is not happy just because there is so much stuff going on in retail business for Christmas and the New Year. So we are going to move it to US East too. Otherwise, we're going to have problems. Hopefully starting January, things will get better. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and create this, and we will say create this resource group. Excellent. Now I go to the resource group, and now I would like to start playing around with Azure AI Factory. Usually you can go to ai.azure.com, and that will take you to the Azure AI Foundry. That used to be called Azure AI Studio, but as of the end of 2024, they have changed name to Azure AI Factory. But you don't have to do it from there. You can actually still do it from the portal itself if you'd like. So I'm going to go ahead and say create. And let's take a look at something that's called Azure AI Foundry. And we'll probably find one right there. And Azure AI Foundry, that is the logo for Azure AI Foundry. Let's go ahead and create one of these resources. It's going to ask us a few questions. Yes, the one I just created, the resource group for AI demo. I am going to put it in East US 2 as well. And we'll call this, for instance, we'll call it Lino, we'll call it what? AI Hub, okay? So we'll call this one Lino AI Hub. I will give it a friendly name. The default project resource group is the same. And also I'm going to allow it to create an AI services for OpenAI. I can create new and give it a better name, but I'm going to be okay with this name. You are more than welcome to change it to something a little bit more readable other than this long name, but it's okay with me. And then we're going to go to the storage. And the storage, again, I can change that name by saying create new, create something else. But for the sake of this demo, we'll leave that long name there is fine. And then the credentials, I'm going to actually use the Azure Key Vault, which is a good thing to do to, of course, keep all your secrets and passwords inside of there as well, and the API keys as well. And for the Key Vault, again, I'm not going to create a new one. I'm going to use that long name that got created for me automatically. You can turn on application insights and container registry if you want. I'm not going to need them for this video, but in the future, if I need one, I will come and make that modification as well. The next one is networking. For the sake of this demo, I'm going to keep it public, but of course, in a professional settings for enterprise level, you probably need to lock it down using private endpoints and having a jump box to get on the inside to do all that stuff. And it's possible, you can definitely do that. I'm going to leave it public for right now. For the encryption, I'm going to actually use the Microsoft keys instead of using my own, so we're good with that. And then for the identity, I'm going to keep it as a system assigned identity. This is a very important part, by the way. Otherwise, once you start uploading files like PDFs and docs and Excel spreadsheet, you will not have access to them from the hub. So this is an important piece as well. We'll use credential-based access on the system assigned identity. I don't need to add tags, even though they're a good thing to have, of course, for budget reasons, so you can run reports. And then finally, we'll review, make sure everything is good, and we'll click on create. And that will take us probably about maybe 30, 40 seconds or so. So I'm going to stop the video and come back when the resource is created. And indeed, it took about maybe 45 seconds or so. It was pretty fast. Let's go to that resource. There is my Lino AI Hub that just got created. I actually want to go to the resource group to show you something. What exactly got created for me? You'll notice there is the Azure AI Hub got created, the storage account. There is also the Azure AI services and the Key Vault. But you will notice here, there is no Azure OpenAI or an Azure AI search. All the stuff will come in later, but these are the minimum ones that got created for us at this point. All right, let's go ahead and open up the resource for the Lino AI Hub. And at this point, it's necessary for us to move over and go to the Azure AI Foundry itself. So I'm going to launch it from here. Let's go ahead and click on that. We'll open up in another tab here in my browser. And once actually the Azure AI Hub or the Azure AI Foundry will load, the first thing it will say, hey, by the way, you don't have a project. So I don't have a project available. So it's going to ask me if I want to create a project in here, and it give it a name. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and call it the Lino project. Alrighty. We'll just give it whatever name you want. We will use the hub that got created for us, the Lino AI Hub, and that's good enough for me. We'll say create this project. By creating this project, it will take a few seconds, and after that, I will be taken to the project itself in the Azure AI Foundry to start my work. And indeed, there it is. Now I'm in the Lino project. You'll notice on the left side, I can take a look at all the model catalogs available for me. I can play around in the playground to try to use some of the models. But right now, I don't even have any models deployed. This project is completely empty. But I do actually have an API key. And as you can see, an Azure OpenAI endpoint was created for me automatically as well. Great. That doesn't mean that I have a model available for me to try things on. So let's go to the bottom here where it says My Assets, and I'm going to click first of all on the model and endpoint. And no models. I'm going to create my first one. We'll say deploy base model. And you have tons and tons, not only OpenAI based, but other things as well. If you go down on this list, you will see Mistral, Meta, 5.3.5, 5.4, Llama. There is tons of stuff. In my case in here, let's go ahead and deploy GPT-4o. I'm going to use it on several videos in this series. We'll say confirm that. And now it's going to ask me, do you want to change the name of the deployment? I'm okay with GPT-4o. That's good enough for me. The only thing that I will change in here will be probably the capacity of 10K tokens per minute. I'm going to usually like to bring it into 40. Again, if you don't have that capacity, you're more than welcome to use 8 or 10 or whatever you have available. I'm going to do a lot of different things with audio and video and stuff later on. So I'm going to keep it at 40 for right now. We'll say deploy. And again, that will take a few seconds and you will notice I have it ready to go and it's successful. Another thing that I would like to do is to also deploy a model for the embedding. Do you actually have to do that? Not really. When you actually add your data and try to create an index, let's say for instance in Azure AI search, if you want that to be your vector store, for instance, if you don't have an embedding model, the default one, always remember, is the 88002 with 1536 different dimensions. So even if you don't have one will be created for you. I usually like to create these things myself. So I'm going to go here to the endpoints again and for the models. And let me click on that. And I'm going to say, other than GPT-4, let me go ahead and deploy also an embedding model. So I'm going to search for something that starts with ADA. And hopefully we'll see an ADA model here in a few seconds. There you go. Text embedding 88002. We'll say confirm this guy. And again, I'm going to leave everything the same. It looks good to me. And we'll say deploy. And again, it will take a few seconds. And successful. Great. So now if I go back to models, I have two things. I have the GPT-4o for the LLM, and I have the text embedding 88002 for the embedding if I need it later on as well. From that point on, folks, I can actually go ahead and click on Playground, and I can try things out. It will say try chat in the playground. Of course, it found out that you already deployed GPT-4o. If you deployed more than one, they will all be available in here, and that is your AI Azure OpenAI Hub that you created in here as well. So I'm going to go against the one I just deployed. We will leave you are an AI assistant that helps people find information. And I will come in here and will say, why is the sky blue? Alrighty. The typical questions to make sure everything is working. Once I click on that, that will go against our GPT-4o and it will hopefully get me an answer here pretty soon. Alrighty, there you go. And there we go. It will explain the Rayleigh scattering and it will explain all that stuff. But look what happens, for instance, if I come in here, it says, what is the temperature in Orlando, Florida tonight? That's where I live, alrighty? So look what happens, for instance, when I ask a question like this. It will say, I'm unable to provide real-time weather information. Remember, this model actually was trained with data from several months ago, and it has no idea how to definitely answer a question like that because it doesn't have the latest and greatest information. But the newer models like GPT-4 and GPT-4o are so nice. It will tell you, well, if you want this kind of information, please head over to weather.com or AccuWeather or something like that, or ask Siri, Google Assistant, or Alexa. It's very helpful, but it cannot answer that question. So in the next video, we will see how we can ask that questions and get an answer directly from here as well, using a prompt flow as well. Alrighty? I hope this was a useful video for you. It's really quickly just to show you how to set everything up. And from the next one, we will start creating some prompt flows using Azure AI Foundry, and also try to ask questions that are current, not based on the LLM that was trained several months ago that might not be able to answer that. So let's go ahead and do that in the next video. Thank you.